Hello, everyone, and welcome to the latest This is the Music Meets podcast. For episode 77, I'm joined by rising Newcastle indie rockers Park View. On today's podcast, we're going to find out all about the band, their 2 single releases so far, future gig plans, and much more. So I'm joined by Josh, Alfie, and Tom. Lads, welcome along to episode 77 of the This is the Music Meets podcast. Thanks very much for coming on. How are you all doing today?
Thanks for having us. I think we're all feeling good. The sun's finally shining up in Newcastle, so
yeah, it's nice.
Feeling a bit better.
Yeah, definitely the same down here in Southend. I think summer's finally here, so let's hope that it's here for a little while anyway, at least.
Yeah,
it's time.
So we're obviously going to talk about the 2 singles that you've released in a little like later on, but kind of like really just want to sort of so you could introduce yourself really to the This is the Music listeners. So Josh, I'll come to you first. Yeah, obviously just giving away what your name is there, but what do you do in the band?
So I am the man on the drums, essentially. It was pretty clustered about how it all started. So Alfie and Wassy and Alex kind of had the 3 of them going in the uni flat, producing some songs, and then I turned to Wassy one day and I went, "Oh, like this is a good tune, this," and he went, "We need a drummer." So I was a bit apprehensive to start off with because I haven't played in years, but we've got around to it and we've tidied it all up.
Yeah, we have.
And here we
just
are.
As a disclaimer, I am the Wassy of the situation.
Oh yeah,
the Wass dog.
Just to clear things up in case we're in murky waters there.
Brilliant. Okay, and what do you do in the band, Tom? Or sorry, what?
I am on rhythm guitar, and yeah, I got invited.
You singing yesterday?
Yeah, I was singing. I got the rare opportunity the other day. So rhythm guitar, and then I was the original mixer for the demos, okay. And then I got invited by Alex to come down. Oh, it must have been June or July of last year, and come and have a jam with Alfie and Alex, and then we've just grown from there, really.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, and how about you, Alfie? What do you do in the band?
I stand at the front and make terrible screeches down the microphone. Pretty much. I mean, it all started off a bit jumpy because every single person in the band can play guitar.
Right. Okay.
So when we first started, it was an absolute nightmare. But I held my hands up. Wassy and Alex are considerably better, so pass it off. And then I just stand there, try not to do anything stupid when the mic's on.
Brilliant. There you go. So obviously, and here you are now, about roughly about 18 months or so later, by the sounds of it. So you met at uni, you were saying there in the intro. Have I got that right? And if that's not right, where did you all meet? And also as well, where did you get the name Park View from?
Yeah, so it's me and Alex went to primary school together. So
right.
I've known him for yonks. And me and him, well, I always knew he liked his music, banging to Oasis, used to harp on about it in school all the time. And then he started recording some stuff on SoundCloud. So and then later on, it would have been like just after 6th form when I started going to uni. I started picking up the guitar and relearning, and like I started writing some stuff and recording some stuff also on SoundCloud. And then we've been mates for ages, so we're just like, oh, well, why not just have a play around with it?
Yeah.
And then I knew Tom because I played football with him when I was younger. And we got some horrific photos of us when we both had massive foreheads and terrible haircuts. But and then Alex got him in the band, And we saw loads of his stuff, which was also on SoundCloud as well, which was good. And he was just sat in his room playing around with his guitar and his little keyboard. And then Josh, I also played football with. His dad was even my coach. So we're all intertwined.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Various different lives. And then Louis, who's our bass player, he's over from the Lake District. He lives in the middle of nowhere. But Alex knew him from they do a boat yacht club in Ullswater Lake, so they knew each other family friends. So then we all just sort of came together. I can't remember where the first place we did it, Tom. Was it in my flat?
Yeah, it was Parkview, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, that was the name of my first student accommodation in town.
Right.
So that wasn't. We still haven't decided how we got the name. I don't think.
Yeah, just a combination of sort of things, really, of factors. It just seemed right.
Yeah. Sure.
Because we're all from Whitley Bay, apart from Louis, and the main street in Whitley Bay is called Parkview as well. There's a shopping centre called Parkview.
Right. Okay.
Alex has an auntie who has a cottage in the lakes called Parkview. So it just seemed unavoidable.
Following you around everywhere you go, by the sounds of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So obviously, as you say, you sort of formed about 18 months or so ago. And obviously earlier on this year, you put out your first two singles. The first one was called Red and Blue, and then Only. You've amassed just over 5,000 streams on the two releases combined so far, which to me is really impressive, especially doing the whole DIY thing as well that you guys obviously are at the moment. So kind of like what I'm sort of quite intrigued to find out really is, what was the approach to like writing both songs, and then like subsequently then like the recording process? I mean, is it totally a solo process, or are you all chipping in ideas to get to the to the end product that we eventually get to hear?
I'll let Tom take this one.
Yeah, to be honest, it completely depends on the song. I think Only was a combination of me and Alex trying just different sort of riffs and chords over them, and just sort of like verses you've written and just kept in case you thought it was good.
Yeah.
And then for the likes of Red and Blue, that was all Alfie. I remember first time he showed me that was the first time we'd met up, and I heard that and I was like, you know what, that's not bad, that Alfie. I reckon we could take that further.
Yeah, the way I think we're like everyone seems to write at the minute, which is great because it means we've got so much coming in, and especially means like if we're doing that now, like I don't think any of us can wait to see what we might be doing in a couple of years. So, but when we get into the studio as well, like we'll get into a practice room, we'll sort it out, we'll go through different songs, and then like instantly Josh will start trying something on top of the chords we're playing. Yeah, don't you? You take the lead and start going for it.
Yeah, that's essentially how most of our songs have made, to be honest. We've got the rhythm, we've got the lead, and then there's usually like a bass line behind it, which Louis then picks up and changes and makes it wonderful in all his ways. But yeah, we just kind of play them in the room, and then I just do random things over the top until something sounds decent behind it.
Yeah, sure. And obviously, you've obviously got and recorded these in a studio. I'm sort of assuming. So, have you guys been led by the producer in any way? In terms of like, oh, well, you should do this, and this, or are you guys very much like, no, this is how it sounds. This is how it's going to be. How have you found that process?
When we recorded Only, we did it in Newcastle with a guy called Martin Corkill, and that was the first time we'd been in a studio. Right. So we were definitely taking any advice we could possibly get.
Yeah.
And he was class, and we loved the way the tune came out. And he's really good, and he'd worked with some of our friends, so we knew what we were getting. and he was quite good as well. And he wasn't like, he would never like take over. He would just sort of listen. And then again, when we did Red and Blue, we did that in Manchester, with a guy called Tate Nichols, and he was class as well. And he had like loads of equipment that we were using. Like we used these amps that were worth more than most of us will see in a year. Like, it was crazy. And but we definitely take on board anything a producer says, because especially in that realm, like me and Tom have played around with some stuff, and Alex, we've made demos and stuff, but not like being in studio. You sort of got to let the masters take it there.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. And just sort of looking on those recording sessions that you did, are there kind of like any stories at all that you can share with us? Any funny stories or anything? And kind of like who maybe had like the shortest like attention span whilst being in there?
Martin Corkill, second day of recording, we must have been recording vocals or something at Martin's, and it had been a while.
Hours.
And he took us for a pizza burger down the road, which was this grubby like beef patty inside like some pizza dough with cheese and tomato sauce.
I thought it was quite nice.
No, it was nice, but it was
dirty. It kept you going for a good couple hours. Like,
it was proper like studio food.
I think the shortest attention span has to go to Louis Simpson.
Yeah.
The man. Oh, he when we were recording Red and Blue, he dug a didgeridoo out of Tate's man cave that we had in. I just found it and he wouldn't stop. To be fair, Tom's quite bad for it. We were recording yesterday and Tom was just playing and playing his acoustic guitar when we were listening to the song and then going, sorry.
It was just in case it needed to be added on. That was my reasoning.
That's it. Well, guitarists, you've got to have your input, most definitely. So I really want to sort of go back really for the three of you really to like the very, very beginning. So and what I mean by that is kind of like, can you remember like what your earliest musical memory was from like growing up? Was it like a certain like band maybe that you heard that stuck with you, or perhaps a certain song?
JB, you're up.
I'll tell you, yeah, that's probably it. So my dad had Whatever People Say I Am, That's What I'm Not on CD.
Yeah.
So that was listened to quite a lot from when it came out. When was that? 2006.
Yeah.
So that's probably the earliest memory I have of listening to the same kind of songs over and over again. And then I didn't really go to much gigs throughout my earlier life, but there was one gig that I went to and I was like, I need to go to much more of these. And it was Catfish and the Bottlemen at the Metro Radio Arena, or the Utility Arena. And their sound live was just absolutely incredible. Like, it was, we were standing, we were pretty near the front, and just, it was unbelievable.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely love the Arctic Monkeys. I mean, what a debut that was, Whatever People Say I Am. And unfortunately, I never actually got to see Catfish live. Had a couple of near misses, so I don't know what's going on with the band at the minute. There seems to be all sorts of who's in it and who's not. But if you are happening to be listening, lads, get back together just for one gig, please.
We'll support you.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, well, there you go. Let's get it done. Alfie, and how about you? What's your sort of earliest musical memory?
Well, my mum used to make me do musical theatre when I was little.
Right.
Which was great in primary school and high school. That was quality. But so I remember my mum used to get us to sing "What a Wonderful World" at every audition, like when I was a proper band. So I remember singing that. But then I think that's probably my earliest memory. But I think the stuff that I listen to now and like the stuff that we make, I used to have this dodgy app on my phone that would like, do you know what I'm on about? When before Spotify, before all that, we all did it. I I had like some sort of like Russian app that let me download YouTube videos, and I remember just having Champagne Supernova, and it was like the only one that I could get that was actually Oasis doing it. And I remember that, and I think I probably liked that song a little too much because I put it in my Instagram bio, and I was in like year 7, like a proper melt.
Brilliant. I mean, it's a great tune, to be fair. So, I mean, I'm biased anyway, I guess, as you can probably see. But yeah, I can't say I blame you, to be honest. And how about you, Tom?
Right. Mine's a bit different to the other stories. My mum used to have an iPod
Yeah.
for running, and she used it when she was training to do the Great North Run, and I'd only be allowed to use it on like special occasions or something, and like listen. And there was one tune, and it was "Video Kills the Radio Star." No, "Video Killed the Radio Star."
Yeah.
Mate,
By the Buggles.
what a banger! What a banger!
Yeah.
Second one, sort of earliest music memory was, it was probably when I found out "What's the Story, Morning Glory" in my dad's sort of glove box while my mum was buying a car, and I put that on, and yeah, that was great. That was like the first proper album I listened to. That was a good experience.
Yeah, definitely. Wouldn't disagree there. And for sort of all of you, really, are you still listening to those back? You know, I'm guessing that they're kind of like influenced you, you know, growing up and getting you into music there by the sounds of it. So are they sort of still influencing you now, or have you sort of moved on to sort of, you know, I guess sort of bands that came later, you know, I guess like Kasabi and Arctic Monkeys and stuff like that. Are they still in there, your top listening, you know, type of thing?
I'd say I'm quite fond of the 80s sort of sound with all the synthesizers
you love
and stuff.
The 80s.
Yeah, I do.
All you do is listen to Voulez-Vous on repeat, I swear.
Yeah, anything like that is proper up my street. Just great music.
I still definitely like, and well, we're all, apart from Louis, all love.
Yeah,
We all love Arctic Monkeys. They're like two that were my biggest influences.
Yeah,
probably as a lot of people, really. But oh well. But especially now, like it's really, I think, hard to like try and find a new sound. So you've got to like, I try and listen to some old stuff. I'm always listening to Led Zeppelin at the minute because Louis absolutely loves them.
Yeah.
So I've been getting through some of them. I've been listening to, who was that band you recommended to me, Josh? The ones who sing like Led Zeppelin.
Oh, Greta Van Fleet.
Yeah, they're good. Them.
They are incredible.
But yeah, then Josh's music taste is all over the shop. It's everywhere.
Oh, there's a big variance in there. So it goes from like, well, what am I listening to at the moment? All day I've had the Highwaymen, which is Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings, and Chris Christopherson.
Yeah.
Old school country, and it's brilliant.
Rock and roll, that.
Yeah, so they've been on Johnny Cash. Yeah, all that kind of stuff's, you know, on the plays at the moment. But you know, you always still come back to the stuff that you like the most.
Yeah, sure, definitely.
Country music, Josh.
You are?
About your country music.
Good.
So
stuff.
It's obviously kind of like obviously you know, since you got together and stuff as a band, you've obviously done a fair bit of gigging, obviously around like Newcastle and obviously like the surrounding area, and obviously you played I think it was your first headline show, I think at the Globe. So kind of like this, I've got a sort of double question in here really when I in this one. So you've also got obviously another gig, and I hope I'm going to get this right. It's coming up on September the 9th at Bobiks. I think I got that right.
Spot on.
Right. Okay. Good. So first of all, the show at the Globe. What was that like for you guys in terms of headlining a gig for the first time? And also as well, looking to the show on September the 9th. Obviously, you're doing that with This Feeling. For those that maybe haven't got a ticket and are in that local area, why should they come down and see you guys live?
Oh,
After you, Alfie.
That is a good one, that. Well, we'll start with the headline.
Yeah.
Pretty blown away after the headline. Like,
yeah, it was good.
it was lush. Seeing all the mates and like all the moms and everything. It was lush, and it was sold out, and that was really big to it. And I know, like, I think that's probably the best we've ever played.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that was decent.
Came together at the right
Yeah.
time.
It was all right, was it, Tom? But yeah, that was unbelievable. But I think we're all looking forward to getting back, getting a holiday and having a little bit of a rest, and then coming back in September with a bit of venom, getting the shows going again.
Absolutely.
I know. Tom, what would you tell the people why they should come see us?
Well, if you're located in Newcastle, especially the Jesmond area, student night, that's where you want to be beforehand. Tickets are cheap as chips, and then you can go straight out on a big market and just have a class time. So
if you come, you
should
can have a
people.
guaranteed night out with Tom Wass.
That looks like that's news to you there, Tom.
Well, I think I'm actually moving out the next day to go back down to Manchester.
Oh, you'll be fine.
So, yeah,
You'll be fine, mate.
We'll have to see.
Go big.
Yeah, exactly.
You can always move out on another day. Don't worry about that. That's
Yeah,
fine.
mate.
Exactly.
That's
Gigs
not
only
important.
come round once, don't they?
Absolutely. So, as you guys know here at This Is The Music, I like to try and shine a light on unsigned bands that, like yourselves, that are obviously trying to make their way on the new music scene and hopefully getting, plenty of gigs and all of that type of good stuff. So kind of like then over the last sort of like 12 months or so, what sort of unsigned bands or artists have you guys been listening to?
Ooh,
I listen to loads, mate. I listen, especially from Newcastle. Like, we've got, so my flatmate who's somewhere in this house, he's in a band called Baltic.
Right. Okay.
And
Yeah.
they're also from Newcastle, and me and Alex went to school with the two lads three of them went to school with Thomas as well. Three of the lads in Baltic, and their class, and through them, like, we've seen them support so many people, and like, I don't know, I've been listening to loads. There's a girl called Sarah Johnson who's from here, who's class. Kieran Bow, a lad from here who's mint as well.
yeah.
I'm sure Tom's had a few. Who you been listening to, Tom?
Right. My favourites, Kiwi from Northwest.
Just done Kendall, haven't they?
Yeah, they are a great band. Lovely lads as well. Who else do I like? We like a bit of the Rev One, don't we?
Oh, so the band that we first supported, like when we did our first ever gig, they did it at the club, and they're called the Revolution One. And they supported us when we did our headline.
Right.
They've got this song called "When I See Her Face," and it's just lush. It's so good.
Not shouting nerves to
So
No, that is
that
a
one
banger.
hits a spot for me. They're all bangers. They've got an EP out and it's good. Definitely worth a listen.
Right. Okay.
Josh, who have you been listening to?
Kind of the same, like mainly the people that we played with. There was that, the name escapes me, the band that we supported in Huddersfield.
Long Island.
Oh,
Long
Long Island.
Long
Yeah.
Island.
Yeah, they're cool.
They've got
They're,
some stuff.
Good band.
they're like 1975 vibe, them.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, brilliant. Well, there's certainly some recommendations there that I think I'm going to definitely go and have a little listen to, because they're new bands to me, and I'm sure by the sounds of it, there's some pretty exciting stuff to listen to as well. So what I'm going to do now is, obviously we've spoken a little bit about you guys, you know, the releases and obviously the gigs and stuff like that you've got or that you've done and that you've got coming up and stuff. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to throw some quick fire questions at you, just to, you know, to maybe find out a little bit more about your personalities as individuals, as well as the, you know, within the band dynamic. So first of all, what is the one item you couldn't live without?
Right.
Ooh.
I've got mine straight away.
Keep it PG, boys.
Right, one item, AirPods. Could not live without them. I think they're unbelievable.
What about your phone? You'd have AirPods, but no phone.
Yeah, but
You've made a mistake.
yeah, but
I feel like it's too
just,
easy to go phone though.
they're just essential.
He
AirPods are
hasn't picked an
great.
acoustic guitar.
Nah, that wouldn't be
Too
it.
wet.
Yeah, that is wet.
What would you pick? What would you pick, Josh?
There's so many things. Like phone is so basic to choose, and obviously you probably
Tub of Velo Besto.
a what?
Tub.
Nope, we'll leave that out. I'm gonna go phone. I'm gonna be boring.
Okay, brilliant. Alfie, how about you?
I don't know. Are you allowed food? Food doesn't count. You're still eating and drinking.
Whatever you want, it's entirely up to you.
It's difficult. I don't know what I use a lot. Probably my laptop. Because you can like use GarageBand and then use like the little loops and stuff if you have to, or just like make the sounds with your mouth.
There you go. You're in. You're
there
done.
we go. And then if I do that, we'll be the only people still making music, so people will have to listen. Genius.
It's a very valid point.
I like the full process.
And Tom will have his AirPods so he can listen.
He'll get his use out of them somehow. Brilliant. So what are your 3 favorite albums of all time?
Wow, that is a good question.
I reckon mine is probably that's really The Balcony, Catfish. Love that album. Rumours, Fleetwood Mac.
Oh, yeah.
And the last one's tough. Probably between Definitely Maybe and Stone Roses.
Oh, that's a good answer.
Oh, yeah. Loving that. Great choices.
Besto, you can take...
Oh, you're not going to put me on the spot here.
Well, I've got mine if you need me to do mine.
You go first. I'm having a quick flick through Spotify.
Right. So, pole position is Making Movies, Dire Straits.
Oh, yes.
Great album. 2 is Hills End by the DMAs.
Yeah.
And then 3, only because I've listened to it recently and I think it's sort of got a bit of bias towards it, is Dark Side of the Moon. I did the full experience of that, and that was mint.
Oh, mate, but if you take that album, you have to listen to it start to finish.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
absolutely. It's great. There's so many bangers on it.
It's crazy, like.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, again, fantastic choices. And how about you, Josh?
Yeah, I think we've got it. So we're going for Favorite Worst Nightmare.
Yeah.
From the Fires by Greta Van Fleet. Alfie, stop pulling her face. And I'm going off at this moment in time. Highwayman by the Highwaymen.
Oh.
At this current moment in time, but it chops and changes.
Yeah, best of it does.
Yeah,
it
sure.
does, mate.
Yeah, definitely. Well, fantastic choices there, and some absolute classics in that. So, which band member is most likely to run off and join a religious cult?
Louis Simpson.
Louis,
Without a
Louis,
doubt.
definitely. Oh, definitely. That is such a perfect question with such a perfect answer.
I like how you're
100% Louis.
all unanimous in that pretty much straight away there. So, any particular reason?
Oh, he's just mental.
I think he just would. He just
He has
would.
a
I think
t-shirt.
he'd join most cults, to be honest,
he would.
if he could.
Brilliant, great stuff. And which member on a night out is most likely to get in a bit of trouble?
Oh.
I reckon Alfie's got a bit of a dark horse in him.
Probably.
Yeah,
Probably
like...
a very calm soul, but
To be fair, maybe Josh.
Josh Bairstow, yeah.
He's not having. He's not happy with this. I can tell. Look, you can just
peacemaker.
see.
Gets in the middle and makes peace, but you never know. You might get popped in the side if you do that.
I saw Louis Simpson shadowboxing behind Banyan one night, so you never know.
Brilliant. So, lads, I believe as well that you're all Newcastle supporters. You obviously I've done. Yeah, you've obviously
Josh.
no. Who are you? Sorry. Well,
unfortunately,
Huddersfield Town.
You're Huddersfield, right? Okay, so we will come on to Huddersfield briefly as well. But obviously Newcastle, fantastic business again. This transfer window, back in the Champions League, it's very exciting times, isn't it?
We're living the life at the minute up north. Yeah,
I'm surprised I haven't seen Watty cry yet. He's so happy.
Oh, Alex has booked a photo shoot on the first game of the season.
Yeah, he did do that. He did do that. He's not happy.
I was slightly disappointed, but
you're still gonna go to the pub around the corner.
Yeah,
It'll be Castle. Hopefully it means we can get our tunes pumping around St James's Park for the Champions League.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Mandy, if you're listening.
And what are the sort of like aspirations for this season? Is it to try and get back into the Champions League again for the following year and maybe pick up like a cup or something?
Everyone I've spoken to has had really, really different views.
Yeah.
Like some people think go for Champions League again, but then some people think like don't sacrifice where we are in the Prem to go for this Champions League too much. It's a bit. I think we just need to do what we're doing. Whatever we're doing is working.
Yeah.
Keep pushing.
Yeah, sure. And Huddersfield, obviously, you're still in the Championship, I believe.
Yeah.
What's the what obviously disappointing season last year? What's the sort of feeling around the club this year?
I'll not go into it too far because I can get deep into it. But yeah, we had a bit of a rough year last year. A lot of trouble with ownership and whatnot. But some American business guy bought us out, and he's really active on Twitter, and it's great to see because he interacts with fans all the time. But sometimes just digs himself a hole. So he's been on talking about like he's not afraid to open his cash book to buy players, and we still haven't signed a player. And we're one game deep into the season. Well, two games now actually. We've played a Carabao Cup game and we've lost both games. So it's still looking a bit rough, and I think we'll do well to avoid relegation.
It's not too late. Not too late to join us, you know.
It is. Yeah, it is.
That's it. Brilliant. So, what are coming back to the music? What are Parkview's plans for the rest of the year?
Ooh,
record a couple more.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
try and get in some festivals.
Yeah, festivals for next year.
Yeah,
cooking in the studio at the minute over the summer, trying to get some tunes out that we won't say too much about to keep the mysteriousness. But yeah, I think we're taking a rest for the rest of the summer gig wise, and then like we say, we're back in September, and we're back in again Newcastle in October. Then we're going away and we're going to try and play at some different cities. Hopefully with some new bands, get some new people listening to our tunes as well. Yeah. So and then after Christmas, yeah, we're really looking forward to hopefully getting on some festivals next year. That's the goal. Playing outside to a big crowd, nothing better.
Yeah, that's what you want.
Yeah, perfect. Well, it certainly sounds like it's going to be a busy couple of 6 months or so for you guys. But unfortunately, Josh, Alfie, and Tom, that is the end of the This Is the Music Meets podcast. Thanks very much for coming on. It's been great getting to know you all a little bit more personally and finding out a little bit more about Parkview as well. But just before I do let you go, can you let the listeners know exactly what social media platforms they can find you on?
So we are on Instagram at Parkview Official. We are on Twitter.
The park, it's at Parkview, but the E in the view is a 3.
There we go.
Got to ring
music. Music's on Spotify. It's on Amazon. It's on SoundCloud if you're listening to the MC versions of it. We've got a Twitter now. I've said Twitter. We've got Facebook.
TikTok.
Louis running our YouTube for us, so we're on everywhere. Just look us up and try not to find a picture of some trees.
Brilliant, great stuff. And we're going to put those links in the episode bio as well. Hopefully we'll be a little bit more successful than looking for trees. Lads, as I say, brilliant. Thanks very much for coming on. And I wish you continued success with everything that you're doing. It sounds like you've got some really big plans and that in the works. And as I say, good luck to you. And thanks very much for coming on. It's been really, really enjoyable.
Thank you very much
for having us.
Great.
Thanks for having us.
It's been a pleasure. Time. It has.
And all that leaves me to say is to thank everyone for listening to the latest This Is the Music Meets podcast. Please subscribe so you never miss out on any future episodes. And if you are loving the podcast, show us some love by leaving us a 5-star rating and written review, as it really does help the bands we chat to be discovered. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you again somewhere down the road.